don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
So you know somebody doesn't respect you. They listen to reply, not to be understood. They cut you off. They minimize what actually matters to you. They laugh at your boundaries, and then they call you sensitive when you try to hold the line. They show up late, they cancel last minute, forget the things you've told them, because in their world, your time, your energy, even your voice aren't a priority. They're just an option. You see, there are two kinds of people. Those who adjust when they realize they've actually hurt you, and those who expect you to adjust so they don't have to change. You don't need to be disrespected loudly to be disrespected deeply. Sometimes you'll see it. It's just in their tone, in their patterns, in the silence after you're known. Respect isn't what they say when they're watching. It's how they act when they think you'll tolerate it.
The flow insane, take my spot, so the range. Shoot my shot with perfect aim. 3rd degree, that perfect flame. Ain't no sleep, that's the game. Oh, so southern, that's the slang. When they see me, that's the main. Chasing checks and fly like planes. Big old stick, I bought a cane. Flick my wrist and bought the ring. I'm so boss, we're not the same. Paid the cost and kept the change. Now I'm walking Hall of Fame. And I reside in the cloud. Grand wishes with these bitches. Taking pictures with the crowd, and I'm out.
Yo. Happy Friday, good people. Peace, blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. Shout outs to my poets, writers, content creators, and everything else in between. I thank God for being here. I hope the week has been well with you. I hope the weekend is just as special, just as unique. I hope you're staying cool, hydrated, and all that. I got Sydney in the studio waiting to pull up. See the title. I got a clip. And we got some stuff to talk about here, man. I really don't have no words. I'm gonna let it speak for itself. Tragic, absolutely unexplainable. Don't really know how to express what I feel towards this story, but just for the sake of awareness and we're gonna get there. Let me bring Sid up on the big screen so we can get this show started. Like, share, repost, let the people know we on. Let's see. Yo.
Hello. How are you doing?
Not too bad. We had a little thunderstorm here last about 45 minutes, so it wasn't very long, but some rain is better than none.
Mm-hmm.
How about yourself?
Not too bad. I've just been hanging around the house with the kids, waiting for something to happen. So I only have a week left before the baby's due date. So I've been very impatient. Like, all right, you can come early if you want to. I'm ready.
Right.
But other than that, just been hanging out with my family members while my husband is like, all right, when does my break get to start? So yeah, other than that, doing pretty good.
That's what's up. Yeah. I found this on Instagram. Gotta love IG. They They're getting bolder, bolder and bolder with their stories. I'm starting to see shootouts. I'm starting to see blood. I mean, like it's starting to get extreme on that app. I don't know if it has something to do with them trying to compete with YouTube, but
I was gonna corroborate that. My husband on his Instagram, he'll have like CCTV footage of murders and stuff like that that are almost completely uncensored, or like car accidents that it reminds me of the early days of the internet when there wasn't any censorship and you can find just about anything on YouTube.
yeah, I got a clip for that too. I don't know when I'm going to bring it up. It probably be this week in regards to YouTube, IG, and the rest of them. That's going to be an interesting one. But let me bring this up on the big screen. I'm gonna let it play. For those of you who are not familiar with the story, I present to you some of the most heinous stuff that I've seen in some time, and we've covered a lot of real dark crap up here. So let's see.
Bradley was a 62-year-old retired teacher in Mississippi. She spent over 30 years educating young people, and her own son killed her. The person she gave life to chopped her body up and tried to flush her down the toilet. A deputy said, when we showed up for a welfare check, we found him standing in the bathroom, flushing small pieces of his mother down the toilet. While outside searching the property with family members, we heard someone scream, "It's a head! It's a head!" He had taken his mother's head into the woods, and he put some of her remains in a suitcase and flushed the rest. He really took his time. Somebody got to explain to me how you could do your mama like this, the one who gave birth to you, the one who raised you. How you stand over her and take a saw and chop her up and then just start flushing her down the toilet like it's nothing. This is a different type of monster. Mental health has to play a part in this because I just don't see somebody in their right mind being able to do this. You don't just wake up one day and decide, hey, I'm going to cut my mom up into small pieces. You don't just casually flush the woman who brought you into this world down the toilet. Something has to be seriously broken inside of you. And even if mental health is a factor, it doesn't make what happened any less evil. The deputy said, "This is the most heinous crime I've ever witnessed in my entire life. This is the type of case that follows you home because it's so unnatural. Your brain can't even fully process it." The 29-year-old man has been charged with first-degree murder.
Instagram, everybody. Initial thoughts, anything you want to get over your chest right away?
Well, first of all, my heart goes out to that family. That is not that is something that you would never forget. That would affect you for the rest of your life, and I would not wish that on anybody. That would be absolutely traumatizing, and I'm not even exaggerating using that word. Yeah. It's funny because the last week and a half I've been binging on I really like the criminal profile type shows where they talk about the psychology of people and why they do the things that they do, and then also like interrogation videos where you can see their body language and understand like what they're feeling, and one of the documentary or like video sets that I watched was on her, and what he did, and it's really rare that people display that level of callousness, but I will say it's sadly not super uncommon for sons to be the ones that kill their mothers. Like in matricide killings, where a child kills their mother, it's overwhelmingly, it's 82% male are the ones perpetrating those crimes. So there's definitely some psychology behind it. I don't know the psychology as well, but yeah, there's definitely something. I don't know what happened, but he also they really suspect that he has a mental disorder. But yeah, just that I don't even know how to explain it without emphasizing how just a normal person is not gonna be able to do something like that. Like that is just no. Yeah, I'm having a hard time putting it into words. It's just yeah, I like the amount of time that it would take to have to do what he did to her. It tells you that he wasn't feeling emotions when he was doing what he was doing. There's something wrong with him.
I wasn't drinking tap water before. I won't be drinking tap water anymore now. Forgive me for my dark humor. I'm uncomfortable because I can't comprehend it. I know people who hate running over animals, but y'all out here wrapping your children up in plastic and putting them in acid and melting them down. You dismembering people. Y'all like the extremes. I mean, the act itself is violent enough, but what happened to you? What happened to you as a child that allowed you to graduate to this point? To the extent that you don't have no soul, you don't have no remorse, no compassion, no inner dialogue that says this is right and wrong. I remember, was it this year? It was last year, sometime last year. A guy was interviewing a guy who had killed his I think he killed his mom. No, it wasn't his mom. He killed his sister. He was like 10 or something at the time. His sister was like 3. Killed her. He spent majority of his life in jail. He should be out right now, either now or he's getting out in another couple years. But there was an interview with a guy, and the way that he spoke was so articulate. Like, I'm fascinated by that stuff too. And the journalist, he a popular, very famous journalist. You know, he's setting up the questions where I guess he's trying to pick his brain, and like he's trying to see where his mind is at. What would drive somebody like this to do that? And of course, the guy is in his 20s now, very articulate. You can tell he reads a lot. He doesn't sound like a sociopath. He doesn't sound psychotic or nothing like that. He sounds like he gave me Hannibal Lecter, but he just had proper English. And I say all that to say, I be wondering what set people off like this. Like, it's one thing if you kill somebody on the street, a regular pedestrian, somebody you get into an altercation with, maybe you had a falling out with an ex-wife or something like that. But to do that to your own mom, that takes a different level of anger. So, yeah, I'm with you. I don't know how much of it is spiritual versus psychological, but I'm willing to bet that he had a lot going on in his life. And I'm not talking about no average, normal, oh, I'm trying to get to know you type of conversation, secrets. And nah, he had some stuff happen to him. I don't know. Now you said you've seen this before. What did it depict? How did that play out? What was the history with that? Was it like a regular show? Was it like a First 48 type of a thing? Like,
they were showing the pictures, the evidence, stuff that they found in the house, any of the footage that they had, interviews with the family members, and like some of the information from the trials and stuff like that, or like the investigation. So yeah, the fact that they part of the reason they found out is because of the plumbing situation. I'm like, that would be for the family members that were still trying to find her. I can't even imagine. One of the other episodes that I watched, this one was like 2 days ago, 1 day ago. He used a wood chipper for his ex-wife. And that's all I'm going to say. But when I hear choices like that, they were expecting that they could just erase the person. Like, I don't know. To me, it's like one of the most callous ways that you could kill somebody, or that you could dispose of a person, because you're not even giving the family the opportunity to find them. Like, you're just absolutely mutilating the person until there's nothing. You hope nothing left of them, and then you put it through the sewage system. And this isn't uncommon. Like, I was looking it up just to check for myself, make sure it wasn't just my own perception. But there have been many cases of people being found because they were stuck in the sewage system because of how they were discarded. And I just, like, that's one of the most inhumane, cruel things that you can do to a person, because it's like the ultimate form of disrespect. Like, I've seen killers that were genuinely remorseful, not condoning murder at all. But I've seen killers like express remorse and not want to damage the body or whatever. Like, they want the body to be found. They want they just want the person to be able to, like, go to rest. Like there's a spectrum of killers, and to me, like to do that to a body as a way to get rid of somebody just shows you care nothing for them. So I would not doubt he has some sort of brain thing, because most normal human beings do not function that way. Like we are not wired to function that way because we're naturally social animals. Like it would not benefit us to kill off our family members because in like in a survival sense we need them. Like we need our troop, we need our group of people that are going to be there to support us and stuff like that. And so somebody that has the willingness to do that is either a extremely desperate or extremely out of touch with reality and their emotions and whatever. And I think he's definitely that's the case in his sense. I think with kids, when we see it, there's another case. This made me think of I think she was 14. She shot her mother, or it was either mother or stepmother, because she didn't want her to find out about her like 17-year-old boyfriend or something. That was desperation. And when people are desperate, they're going to pick methods that are like fast and immediate. What he did, that was a disconnection from any sort of like, he wasn't having emotions for her, or he was somehow ignoring them, blocking them off, didn't care. Because it takes a lot of effort. And if someone is deeply emotional, they're not going to be able to put in any effort. They just want it to be like over and done with. But this guy had like sustained dedication to this whole process. And yeah, I'm still trying to I still try and process it, because sometimes they do rattle me a bit if it's something that like connects to something I've experienced. And the fact that it was like a mother and a son, I've been watching like mother-son stuff, like psychology stuff. So yeah, that it's in my head, but I'm kind of rambling. My bad.
Hey, nah, how do you really talk about somebody cutting up their mom or chopping people up? That's where we at right now in society today. Like everything that you scroll on, and I know you can curate your timeline to be whatever it is. I know that, but it don't negate the fact that this stuff happened. Somebody had said under one of my comments that all these people do, all they do is talk about celebrities and athletes, and they try to get clout off of them, and this, that, and the third. Well, sir or she or whoever you were, you don't know what I talk about clearly, because this has nothing to do with football, basketball, polyamory, or none of that. This is something that should touch and connect to everybody. Don't really matter where or what walk of life you come from. We wake up and go to bed to these people, some of them. These are your parents, your husbands, your wives, your cousins, your brothers, and they out here crashing out. They are like, there was a guy who killed his children, tried to escape. They got him. Like it's so many different things that point to the enemy has entered the camp, and nobody is protecting the people. Think about it. somebody in your household might be in danger. You don't know it. You might be. You might think that you laying next to the most innocent person in the world. They probably got all type of rage and anger and hatred towards you. What type of animosity could he have possibly had against his mom? And did she know? Was she aware that this was happening? Did she sense it? Or was she caught off guard? So I like as haunting and creepy as this is, it's like we got to be aware of this stuff. The world is vast. Too much is going on. Wow, the same way you're thinking about a million things at once, a million things are happening simultaneously outside of your own vision. We trying to find ways to express how we feel about this story. And while we're doing that, there's stuff going on right now. There's people who need help right now that need to be found and everything. So I don't know. This is sad. This is absolutely sad, man. I just don't know. I don't have it in me to have that type of animosity towards a single soul. Even if I thought you were an enemy, which I don't have enemies, but even if I felt disgruntled towards the way you treated me in the past or whatever, I could never bring myself to throw you in a wood chipper or put you in an oil drum and get a specific type of acid to get rid of the evidence and then pretend like everything was good with the family. I remember it was another story I did. Matter of fact, I don't even think I did a story on that. It was just something I watched with a dude. The dude was just normal as hell, but the whole time he killed his wife and he blamed it on somebody who was like 400 or 500 miles away. He blamed it on her high school sweetheart, somebody that she ain't seen in like 20 years. And he had the police really convinced. He was sitting there right next to him, helping him the whole time. It's like you just don't know people anymore.
I was reading this article just to see if other people have talked about the rise of violence on Instagram. And no, apparently it's they wrote an article on this, or at least this particular article from CBS was October of 2025. And it was talking about how college students were finding more and more violence show up on their Instagram feeds and being suggested content. Like a lot of them say fights and stuff like that would end up turning into other forms of violent content. And even younger kids, like they quoted fourth graders, were seeing the same form of content on show up on their pages unprovoked. And I also myself remember some of the places where violent videos and stuff were coming from were found on Facebook or YouTube originally. And as I remember, probably through the late 2010s, mid 2010s, that's when they really started to like crack down on all those other video sharing sites. I remember my classmates in high school used to pass around videos from like, I won't say the names of them, but there was a couple different websites where like you knew where to find those types of videos, but they were like specific websites specifically for those types of videos, and you wouldn't find it in the like main feed of things. But now it seems like it's flipped, where on the internet itself, you're not going to find much of that. It's all going to have been censored and sanitized. But if you go on social media, there's a lot of ways that you can see stuff like that. And I know one method that I've seen of releasing these types of videos is the stuff that's going on in the Middle East. I've been seeing a lot more videos of like graphic injuries and stuff like that being uncensored, showing up on timelines and stuff under the saying that they're like, oh, collecting donations and stuff like that. But they're still like, I've literally seen people blown up in these videos asking for money. And it seems like, as I said, it's switching now, where social media is now the place that is allowing this kind of content to be disseminated, which is also ironic given their increase in censoring words and ideas, but they're still not censoring traumatizing things from being on the feeds. You're on mute.
Question. What do you think social media would look like if they didn't highlight the crime? If they didn't showcase the homicides and the racism and all the negative stuff that's going on out here?
I think it would depend on if they allow manipulation of the algorithm, or like if they allow manipulation of the feed to cater to what you like, or if they're completely like, it's just based on what you like. Because if they have any filter controlling what you can and can't see, then there's always going to be an avenue for them to pipeline certain things to you. But if they have nothing, like I think Threads used to be like that. I don't know for sure, but I know there's one social media platform that at least originally did not allow. It was based on whatever you looked up, that's what would show up. But most places now are not that way. They are based on what they want you to see and advertisements targeted at the things that you're interested in. So it's, yeah, I think that the internet, whether or not they allow that kind of content, would still heavily depend on how much they doctor the results that you see.
I don't think, for me, it would make a difference. It does have an effect on our attention span. It does dramatically affect the way that we operate in our households. I think social media has done a number on a lot of our minds and on our youth. But on the flip side, I'm looking at the pros and cons, even with how it negatively rearranges our mindset. On the flip side, at least you're going to get a little more honesty from the media coverage. Like, I'm not really fond of what he did, but it makes me more privy that it's going on. Like, we can't be naive and think that it's just perfect out here. Everything is rainbows, unicorns, and nah. There are a lot of miserable, unhappy people. And there's a lot of folks that do not know the signs are right there and they don't recognize them. The main stations, when they cover stories, they don't really give you full details. They hide things. They control it to the extent that you don't know if they lying out their butt or what. So like you go to Twitter, you're probably going to get more honesty than you're going to get it from CNN or ABC. So like there's a it has its good and its bad. My IG has a blend of dark comedy, crime, fighting, dating, relationship stuff. It's like a mixture of all. And maybe a little poetry here and there. The poetry scene is not that prevalent on there for me, but I say all that to say with what he did to his mom, it's scriptural. It's definitely prophetic to me because the child is going against the parent. You're not respecting the parents no more. You see it more and more every day. And to go to the extent that he did, I'm still just trying to figure out how could you have that much rage in your heart for your people like that. I just don't get it. I'll never understand that. So I mean, forgive me, man. That's some real coward stuff. You didn't think that you could get help for that. You didn't think that you could go to somebody and try to remedy that. Did you not try to have a conversation with her? Did you not try to figure out like what was really happening here? Was she abusive? Like what was the whole dynamic in that house? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. It humbles you. It makes you appreciate the people that you got in your life every single day. I know I sure as hell am like, damn man, you think you got it bad, but we up here complaining and we wondering how we gonna pay our light bills and we're gonna pay for this and pay for that and pay for this. You angry and you be bitter at certain people in your household, be bitter and angry at your friends, criticizing everything, but the whole time Jesse from 3 blocks down just set his peoples on fire inside of a car and like I feel for like I would love to know what their relationship was like when they interview him and really sit down and try to figure out what happens. I would love to know what brought him to that place because all this stuff started from somewhere. You don't just come out the womb like that, like little Michael Myers. You develop that. That's a pattern. That's something that you learn and develop over time. Did nobody notice? Would you be able to tell that your son or your daughter had the potential to do this? And would you be able to catch it? Food for thought, something to consider. I know we like to think everybody in our household is normal, as normal as they can be, but how much can you really know about someone's individuality outside of just interacting with them? But real question. It's like rhetorical. Uh, go to bed tonight. Have a conversation with your step kids and whoever, and really try to figure out, are they okay? Are they straight mentally? Did they have a broken heart? Are they still trying to heal from wounds that they never addressed? Like, stop being lazy, be proactive, and really try to figure out if your people's all right. Even check on yourself.
So I found on one of these articles, she was in the process of removing him from her home. She had gone to court and was planning on evicting him, and that's why he did what he did. And even the person on the article said he was very calculating when he committed the crime, and he did it in a way that whoever came looking for her would have to do their due diligence to find her. So, as I kind of had said earlier, he had so little humanity, he didn't care about anybody else. He only cared about his own escape from the situation and had zero remorse and humanity for her and for all of his other family members.
To take it off.
Mute.
All this because you was about to get kicked out.
He was, yeah.
So what? You didn't have a job. You wasn't chipping in. Well, was you pretending to be an adult? You was having people over her house. You was disrespecting the rules of the house. You didn't like the way she was talking to you. You didn't like the fact that you couldn't kind of do what you wanted because you felt less than. Like, I don't know, man. That ain't even there's really no excuse for that, but that's even worse. That's like, come on, man. That means that you already had prior history. Like, I'm getting the impression that you already have some issues with authority. Maybe, and I could be wrong because I didn't dig into his background and none of that, but I'm assuming maybe that he'd been in jail before. He got out, he needed a place to stay, or maybe he was just a bum. Maybe he didn't work. Maybe he did work. Maybe he wasn't paying rent. I don't know. Obviously, she felt some type of way about his presence, enough so that she wanted him out. But that don't give you the that don't give you the right to dictate whether or not she lives or dies. Like, what type of logic, what kind of rationale is that? You got to, I don't know, man. I'm over it. I'm over stories like that. I'm over abusive men. I'm over abusive people in general. I'm over folks that's too lazy to go get help. All these tools, as much as they try to control stuff, you still got other options. There's ways. Before I crash out, I'm going to do everything in my power to try to fix whatever is wrong with me. Crashing out seems like the laziest way to escape your own prison because you don't know what else to do with that energy. You had way too many other options take that attitude and put it into something productive. You don't take that out on people who brought you into this world. That's crazy.
At the end of May, it was a hearing in court, and they didn't address a bond or a trial date. Instead, the judge ordered for a competency and an insanity evaluation because they don't know if he actually understands the legal process and can assist in his own defense. And so it looks like they're testing him because they don't believe he's mentally, or at least they have reasons to question his mental soundness of mind. And for the competency check, if I remember correctly, the competency hearing is to evaluate his, like, whether he's mentally delayed, whether he has a disability, an inability to, like, mentally function, where the insanity evaluation is to examine if he has psychological characteristics that would make him a higher risk of committing crimes like that again, like seeing if he's has one of the psychopathy traits, one of the psychopathy presentations, or if he has another mental disorder that makes somebody more likely to commit violence, such as bipolar, schizophrenia, stuff like that. Though not saying that anyone should ever use that as an excuse, but sometimes the disorders can be so bad that the person has no control of their actions because of what the disorder is doing to their mind, or at least they're not, like, in a state of coherence. So it looks like it's, at least from what I know about this method of murder and from what I'm seeing from their judgments in the court, he very likely does have something wrong with him. Like, it's likely that he's not some normal person that just got stressed out, and, like, he probably has some issues. And I can't find any additional background on his personality or history. No, I can't find anything on that. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does. People that have issues like that have a trail behind them. So I would be surprised to hear he wasn't messed up somehow with what he did.
You know what's scary about that? How do you process that? Like, there are literally folks that they get diagnosed and they get ignored, or they don't get diagnosed at all and they still try to be normal in the community. You know, last month was Men's Mental Month, or even though to me, you should be checking in on your mental health every day for the rest of your life. Like, there shouldn't be a expiration date on that. But we alluded to this a little bit with that train incident with the guy killing that woman on the train, and how they kind of let him walk prior to that incident. It is like, all right, how many people are out here that should be under constant surveillance? I don't like the word surveillance, but how many people are out here on medications that are probably not getting them because they can't afford them, or they're out here walking around us with these issues? The government doesn't want to foot the bill and house these people properly, and you just release them back into the population. Because one of the things that you had pointed out back then was, and I'm paraphrasing, what if they would have taken better care of that man? Would he have killed that woman on that train? And how much better would he be right now if he had proper care? Which makes me wonder about him and dozens of other people who are out here right now who probably went to somebody and they told them, well, this only covers for 2 weeks. This only covers for this. You're going to have to sign a whole bunch of paperwork and go through this, to go through that, to get here. And everybody can't do that. So now what we left with is people out here just trying their best to figure it out. And this is what you get. I'm just hypothetically speaking, and it just kind of went through my mind when you were speaking about that part. There's a lot of folks out here that need help and they're not going to get it because our system, the way it's set up, they don't really give a damn about it because they can't profit off of you like that.
I had a line of thinking and then I forgot because I was listening to what you're saying. Yeah, in society, it historically shows that when people are able to access better health care and have better support in their communities, with all forms of mental health, whether that's access to medications, access to speech or like human to human services, contact, having access to facilities that can support care for people that are a little bit beyond help at the moment, and they need to be separated from society. Give me 1 second. Sorry. And with places that have historically better mental health services, you also tend to have a lower instance of crime in the area. You have better school systems. You have people tend to be more educated. People also tend to be more pro-social, and there tends to be better outcomes for homelessness and criminal recidivism, which is the returning to prison. When you have adequate mental health services available to people, every other aspect of life gets better, because mental health is a huge component in crime, and crime has an effect on how the city looks, how the people act, how the public transit system is. Because if there's a lot of crime and a lot of graffiti and a lot of issues with violence and people destroying things, the city is going to reduce the spending that they put onto transportation, because they're I'm not going to keep repainting this, repairing this, whatever. Or let people renting, it affects the cost of rent, because if you have people that are having issues and they're damaging the property, or they're doing drugs, or they're there's other problems that are causing them to destroy the property relating to mental health, they're going to raise the rent to make it harder for people that are like that to get money, or to get a place to live because they don't want to have to deal with those problems. So if you look at, there have been experiments in cities, certain small countries have done this, as well as like hospital wide. Like there have been experiments with it, obviously nothing widespread, but overwhelmingly, when you take care of mental health and thus physical health, every aspect of life gets better. And it's one of the most neglected things. Like, people do not like spending money on quote unquote useless people. And if you have a mental disorder, especially if it's to a point where it makes you not able to function as well, where you take more money than you give into the system, they're not going to want to help you because you don't make them money. You make them spend money. And I think that's one of the biggest crimes above all, I mean, among the many others. But one of the things politicians and rich people are doing to us is they're directly damaging our mental health because, you know, it makes it easier to take away from us if they're like, oh, well, you don't deserve it. And yeah, how you treat those that can offer nothing tells you a lot about the mental, the where somebody's at. Like, if you're gonna throw a coffee cup at a homeless person, you probably have a lot of issues.
Well, you brought that up about him taking that test. Took me back to that video, and like, these are my final thoughts on this story. Because the guy who had killed his sister at 3 years old, for them that interviewed him, it was like a game of cat and mouse. They wanted to prove the same thing. They wanted to know if he was really cuckoo or if that man was in his right mind. But because the way he carried and conducted himself, what's going on, the way he carried and conducted himself, it was almost as if you would be sitting in a library filled with people, and this guy is the one that you go to for every book that you could ever ask for. If you were looking for information on something, he was the guy that you go. But he's been in jail for most of his adolescence, so he read a lot, and he was very, very knowledgeable. I don't know if this is the case here. We'll see. But justice for that lady. I hope and pray they get it right. I don't know how, like, I would love to sit and have a conversation with one of them people who do that for a living. Like, you're literally there to figure out if this person is crazy or not. Like, how do y'all go about it? Shout out to Jason. Shout out to Jason, because he spoke about this before, and I find that very fascinating. Is this guy really crazy, or is he going to try to finesse the system? And I landed there.
Just judging by his mugshot eyes, I'd say he has something off there.
Bang, bang, bang.
had to end with something a little bit more lighthearted, despite the situation.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for that family because it makes me think of another one that I saw, I think it was yesterday, where the cops came by to the house to do a search for this missing woman, and they went around the whole house. I think it was like her ex-boyfriend's house or something like that. And they like did a search, but they didn't find anything. And then later that day, the family showed up at the house because I forgot exactly what triggered them to go there, but they were looking for her, and they literally found he'd made soup, and the ingredients were all around the kitchen, and it had been there when the cops first went by. And so they basically missed all of the signs of what had happened, and the family members were the ones that had to call into the paramedic or to 911 to say what they had found. And I'm like, the level of incompetence. But yeah, for a family member to have to experience that, that's going to take some therapy. That is going to take some work. And yeah, my heart goes out to them. Losing a matriarch in a family like that, I feel so bad.
I thank you for pulling up this evening. I'll never be able to wrap my head around stuff like this ever. And I pray that I never see it with my own, like I could never just, nah. I'll probably be scarred for life if I ever walked in on something like that. Shout outs to everybody who pulled up this evening. Thank y'all for hanging out, man. Let me know y'all thoughts. If you're not following me on the tube, tap in with me, hit that bell, stay in touch. You know, we locked in every week. Some mornings, and I got something for y'all tomorrow evening. So pull up if you're free. Sydney will be back with us Monday. She got something cooked up for Wednesday. I'm about to get on that right now. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Just in case I don't get a chance to chop it up with y'all tomorrow. If you got to be out, be safe. And do me a solid before you go, if you don't mind.
Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.
Peace.
The flow insane, take my spot, so the range. Shoot my shot with perfect aim. 3rd degree, that perfect flame. Ain't no sleep, that's the game. Oh, so southern, that's the slang. When they see me, that's the main. Chasing checks and fly like planes. Big old stick, I bought a cane. Flick